Hey guys, Michael with Ready to Shoulder here, and today we're going to be going over how to install the Sidekick mount. We have one here today that's specific to our 5th gen Ram, and we will be installing this. I want to run over a couple features with you of this mount. On the front of it here, you'll notice there are 2 knobs. These knobs will articulate the clamping arms here in the back. Also on the back of the mount, you'll notice that we have a 5/32 hex key that will be used to make adjustments on this mount. So from here, let's go ahead and get it installed. All right, so first step, you're going to want to turn these knobs clockwise, and that's going to loosen the clamping arms. After the clamping arms are in the open position, you're going to slide this over the center of your door handle, and then you're going to turn the knobs counterclockwise to tighten the arms around the handle. You're going to want to make sure the mount is nice and snug, will not rotate over the edge of the handle, and doesn't have any play in it. It doesn't take a ton of force to tighten it on the door, so just no tools are required, just tighten these by hand. Next step, we're going to install the rifle mounting arm onto the mount. So on this mounting arm, we will go over a couple specific features on it. On the lower mount, there is 2 screws that you can loosen, and that allows you to slide the lower mount up and down on the rod. That allows you to match the contour of your stock to the mount and providing the most appropriate hold for your rifle. And on the rod holder, there is 4 screws that you can loosen, which allows the entire rod to move up and down within the holder, and that adjusts the elevation of the gun within your door. All right, so let's get this mounting arm onto the body here. Just unscrew this rear knob. And you'll notice that there are gear teeth on the rod section here and on the mount body. You'll want to make sure those gear teeth are fully seated before you tighten it, and then just reinstall your tension knob on the rear. All right, so now that the mount and mounting arm are on the door, we'll go ahead and put our rifle in there and go over some adjustments with that. So right now, you can tell that this mount needs some adjustment, as there's not clearance here on the rear of the door. If you were to shut your door, it's going to hit. So we'll adjust that by changing the angle here. You can adjust it by rotating the angle of the gun in the door with your tension knob being loosened and then tightened. Again, make sure when you make this adjustment that the gear teeth are fully seated. In this configuration here, the rifle would shut in the door, but we can also make further adjustment. We do have some space we can use here at the bottom of the door, and so if we wanted to put the rifle lower, we would use our built-in hex wrench here in the rear of the mount. Just take that out real quick. We can slightly loosen these 4 screws, which would allow us to slide this rod down. And we'll slide that down so that the butt of our stock is a little lower in the window and a little bit closer to the ground here. After you make that adjustment, you just snug these bolts back up. There's no reason to get crazy tight on these. You're just trying to snug this rod and so that it doesn't move in the holder. All right, so now that the gun is where we want it in the door, you can see there is not much tension being applied to this end of the stock, so we're going to make an adjustment on that. To do that, all you need to do is loosen the 2 screws here at the base of the lower mount, and we will slide this mount up where it will provide more tension. You could even go a little further on this rifle. From there, we will tighten these back down. Again, it doesn't require a ton of force. It's just enough to prevent the mount from wiggling on the rod. So now with that adjustment made, you can see there is a lot more resistance here, and that's the amount of resistance we want to hold the gun, where it is firmly in place, but it's also easy to remove the gun when you're ready to use it. So if we're going to adjust this for the Tikka, if we're done using our Ruger for the day, we're going to adjust it for the Tikka. Go ahead and set your gun in there. You can see doesn't want to go down into the lower mount, so we will loosen these lower screws. And then from there, we'll be able to slide the lower mount further down the rod where it wants to grip the gun appropriately. We'll tighten that back up. And then from there, check on our resistance pulling the gun out. All right, after your successful day of hunting with the ready to shoulder mount, here's how you're going to remove it from the vehicle. Go ahead and take your rifle out. And to gain easy access to these knobs, just go ahead and loosen this tension knob and pivot the rotating assembly up. And that'll give you clear access to your knobs here. And you will turn these knobs clockwise to loosen them. And then you'll be able to remove your mount.